built in 1958. Moved over here in the 1980s.
Better simulator. Yes. You know, and a community.
Is that brightness? Is that okay? Okay, just double checking. It's the sunlight's right above me, so. Okay.
They're correct. Yeah, 5 years old. Just celebrated a birthday for Henry. Yeah, doing really well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
really?
Colonel, go to me and I'll turn. So we get him going. Yep.
You want us back here, Governor?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We got the county, the city, state. Chamber.
Yep.
All right, good. Go ahead.
Okay. Good day, and thank you for being here. The Minnesota National Guard's 148th Fighter Wing is proud to be a part of Minnesota's long and proud tradition of service. We have been your fighter wing unit for more than 75 years, supporting multiple deployments to the Middle East, and our most recent deployment to Japan, supporting the United States Indo-Pacific Command. Our airmen train every day to defend our state and nation and stand ready to answer the call, whether it's overseas or right here at home. To continue that mission, it is critical that we retain a manned flying mission in Duluth. Right now, we fly the F-16 Block 50, some of the most modern F-16s in the Air Force inventory. But we do so out of a hangar that was originally built in 1958. It has served its purpose, but it simply cannot support today's aircraft or the fighters of the future like the F-35, F-15EX, or the next generation air dominance fighter. Structural issues, electrical hazards, and limited clearance all pose daily challenges for our airmen and aircraft. The governor's recommendation of $3 million to design a new universal fighter aircraft hangar is a smart investment that supports one of Minnesota National Guard's top priorities, modernization. A new hangar will not only improve safety and efficiency, it will keep the 148th competitive as the Air Force evaluates where to base its next generation of fighter aircraft. This project is more than just infrastructure. The 148th is Duluth's 7th largest employer. We contribute millions to the local economy and provide critical services to the airport and surrounding region. Losing our flying mission would create a ripple effect across the community and shift major costs to local agencies. Modernizing our facilities means securing our future. It means keeping the 148th flying for Minnesota and for our nation. With that, I would like to wish a warm welcome to the Governor of Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz.
Thank you, Colonel. Thank you. Well, thank you to Colonel Ace, and thank you to the warriors of the 148th. We're grateful for the work that's here, both those in uniform and our civilian employees. As you heard the Colonel say, this is a major employer in this area, but it's also a major part of our nation's defense. We were just talking about it, and some of you remember that, the incident with the balloons that were floating across causing so much trouble. It was this fighter wing that scrambled and took that threat out. They're asked to do this work every single day. And I know across Minnesota, our communities that support their National Guard wholeheartedly, you'd find very few that do it better than Duluth. And you're joined here today by local elected officials. You're joined here by the county that's supportive of this, our state elected officials. And I think something that's the commitment that the Chamber of Commerce has made up here to understand both the economic impact and how much the fighter wing gives back into the community. Now, many of these, and of course the National Guard is a dual mission. We support the federal mission when we're activated for Title 10 and when we're in Title 32 state. We use these resources on state missions. We use the personnel when we need them on state missions. And a lot of the infrastructure you see here is, of course, the federal commitment to this fighter wing that's part of the broader force. And we were talking about this, this is a huge asset, both to the nation and to the state of Minnesota and the city of Duluth. And I think the state's opportunity here to upgrade this facility for the numerous reasons, to make us more appealing, to make sure we get the next generation of fighters here so we keep a manned fighter wing up in Duluth. But it's simply to provide the quality that the folks who work up here deserve. And listening to the Colonel talk about it, when the weather goes bad and we're in a lightning warning, he said about 20 times out of the year we have to shut down what's happening in this hangar. And there is a lot of maintenance and a lot of work that goes on to keep this this aircraft flying. And they deserve to have a safe facility. They deserve to have it meet requirements. This facility is 70 years old. And it's maintained to the highest standard because a lot of people do a lot of work. That's what we expect. Just like this aircraft, when you look at it, came off the assembly line in '91, and it looks brand new because of the work that goes into it. But just like any other piece of equipment, it becomes harder and more expensive to do that. So I want to say thank you to everyone who made the commitment on this. We have a bonding bill that should be done by May 5th or May 19th. We had a meeting amongst legislative leaders bipartisanly and the bonding chairs. I believe, and this is in my budget, to put in the $3 million for the design phase to start moving this forward. Now's the time. We need to put the investments into this hangar. It's about a $28 million project. State can do it. We'll construct it with Minnesota labor right here in Duluth. We'll get a great facility that will last for the next 70 years. We put ourselves in a better position as, again, when basing decisions are made. We've got some of the best airspace to fly in. We have one of the most supportive communities. We have some of the best personnel to do it. So it makes sense that we should have the best equipment. So I'm really grateful for that. And I'm going to turn it over to the folks, as I was mentioning this morning. We saw a $5 million investment down the hill in Sofidel. We had the CEOs of an Italian company here today talking about a $200 million investment and 150 new jobs. That's our job at DEED, and it's our job in the administration to help go look for those things and make it possible. But that $5 million came from the legislature. It came from the legislators standing right behind me who made the investment that got Sofidel to say if the state is willing, the county is willing, the city is willing to invest, we'll come here. So I want to turn this over. I'll let them decide, say a few words about this and the commitment. I believe that we have a bipartisan commitment that's broad to get this thing done. With that, legislators, turn it over.
Well, thank you all for being here, and thank you, Governor, for making this a priority in your budget. Thank you, Colonel, for having us. This is really important. We're really proud here in the Northland to be home of the 148th. These folks don't just defend us and keep us safe. They're members of our community. I've a number of times seen the Colonel with him and his family in our communities in Hermantown, and that's really important to us. Not just the economic impact, but the 148th men and women are ubiquitous in our communities, and that matters for us. We want to make sure that the Northland continues to be an aviation hub between Cirrus, the Air Force Base, the airport. We can really continue to grow and be that aviation hub for Minnesota and the nation. So by making these investments at the state level in things like the hangars, making sure that the men and women of the 148th have the equipment and facilities that they need, that helps us be competitive at the federal level when we're looking at growth and opportunities. So that's why we're prioritizing this. That's why I've carried the bill to invest in the 148th over the last 2 years since becoming a senator, and I think this is the year that we can do it. You know, I have joined a group of legislators who have said we should do a bonding bill first. We shouldn't let bonding bills get tied together in all of the controversies that happen in the legislature. Let's pass a clean bonding bill. Let's invest in critical defense issues like the 148th and our communities here in Duluth and the surrounding area. That's how you do this. Then we can negotiate the other stuff later. So I don't know if that'll ultimately happen, but there are a number of us voicing those concerns. I know the governor wants to get this done. We're going to keep pushing, and I hope this is the year we can deliver some results for the 148th. So thanks so much for having us. I'll pass it to perhaps Representative Kozlowski.
Okay. Well, good morning, afternoon. I don't even know what it is. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much, Governor, Colonel, and the whole 148th Fighter Base team for having us, legislators and elected officials alike, out here. Again, I don't know how many times that we've come out on bonding tours and we've had folks coming, getting their eyes, boots on the ground to see the needs right here of this operation that, as we've heard, is a part of a big ecosystem in our aerospace industry that's leading not just the state, but actually the globe with our aviation partners and everything that is a part. And so we see the folks at the 148th. We want to get this across the finish line this time. We've been baking this cake for a number of years, and kudos to Representative Lissegard, who had the opportunity to carry this bill on the House side. I'm proud to be the lead author on it this time to bring this forward, because from flyovers in our community I mean, these folks are everywhere. The folks from the 148th base are in our community. They were just recently on an Arctic mission that I was reading about down at Fort Ripley, getting ready so that they're on standby to go and fly out and fly over our community, our entire airspace that's so vast, that stretches and is an impressive space that draws a lot of attention and attraction and need for our business side of things, but that these folks defend and make sure that we're safe so that we can go out in our communities and continue to live a good life. We have housing in our community because of the 148th Fighter Wing, and we want to make sure that we continue to grow, that we're providing these opportunities, and that as we're looking forward, that we heard the space that they're working in is just not acceptable. To have the space where the fighter wings aren't fitting, that we've dealt with PFAS issues, that folks have to worry about lightning and bad weather. We would never expect anybody else under those conditions to go out in the workplace in our state workforce, and so we shouldn't expect that of the folks here at the 148th Fighter Wing, the men, women, and all trans and non-binary folks who are serving our communities. And I also feel very hopeful for a bonding bill. We've come together and we've said that bipartisan, this 148th, but also bipartisan, we've toured the state. We've gone to over 70 communities. We know that we need to modernize our fighter wings, our colleges, our child care centers, and we can get this done together. So I want to hand this off to my colleague, who I'll just add that another part of why this base is so important is that it does support a lot of the other efforts that we're bringing forward. It provides the critical first responder to all of the operations out here, and so at a time when we need people who are there, a steady hand in crisis, we're grateful to have Representative Pete Johnson serving, so I invite you up to speak.
Yeah.
No, I just echo everything that everybody else has said. The 148th has showed up for our community over and over and over again. It's time for the state to show up and deliver some investment in this facility, in this base, to make sure that they have a home here in the future. To the point of their involvement in our community, they are everywhere. Putting on my other hat as a firefighter for the city, the number of firefighters that are serving the city of Duluth right now that either are currently reservists up here or have served in the 148th it's a huge portion of our firefighters, and they get a ton of training up here. They make our Duluth Fire Department better, and I know they're like that. They're serving in all kinds of capacities across our city, across our community. Making this investment, showing that we value the work that they're doing here, is hopefully going to keep them here a long time into the future to keep delivering for us here in the city and in the community around us. So, with that, I'll pass it off to County Commissioner Annie Harla to share a few words.
Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. I am Annie Harla. I chair the St. Louis County Board. I want to thank Colonel Asta as well as Governor Walz, all the staff, and my other elected colleagues, and Matt from the chamber. I am the chair, but first and foremost, I'm a sister of a bulldog, and my brother has been working here since '93, enlisted right out of high school from Central High School, and so we've tracked the future of this base as a family for a long time. So when we had the opportunity this year as a county to sign on in support of this legislation to get the bill for this to pass, there was no question that we unanimously supported this as a county board. And I'm not going to say what everyone else has said, but I just have to say that in our community, when we come together, we have a resilient. We have the opportunity to be resilient. They're the backbone of our resilience. They're showing up when the weather is the worst, when we have our hardest days. They're the people that turn on the lights, and they're along with our plow drivers that are going through, making sure that they're showing up every day. And so, as a huge part of our public safety response, I'm so grateful for all the people that are serving within our county and our region, and really hope that this will pass. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
The one thing that County Board Chair Annie Harla failed to mention is that her brother, who has been a bulldog for decades, just got a promotion. So she's being very humble there. My name is Matt Baumgartner. I serve as the president of the Duluth Area Chamber of Commerce. And in addition to being a lifelong Duluthian and supporting the Bulldogs, one of the things that excites me most, and we've heard some great things from folks, is that we have 1,100 employees up here on the base, over 400 full-time employees up here on the base. We heard $100 million of economic impact annually here. And with that comes protecting very important airspace, protecting very important water, and then doing things like the governor mentioned during times that are unprecedented, like in 2020 with the COVID-19 pandemic. What this base was called to do during that time was unimaginable. And if you ever have about an hour, I'm sure Colonel Asta and the team would love to give you a presentation on all of that. But they showed up anywhere and everywhere in the midst of a pandemic that we didn't know anything about at that time. Additionally, to the point that Representative Kozlowski made, we don't ask others in the workforce to go into areas and work with conditions that aren't top-notch in the state of Minnesota. We want top-notch work conditions. We are working on multi-million-dollar aircraft and other things in these hangars that are over 70 years old, and they aren't great working conditions. And so we need to remedy that. We need to rectify that, and that's what we're talking about today. We're able to do it right now only because of the skill of the women and men who work up here at the base. That's why we're able to make that happen. It certainly isn't because of the wonderful hangars that we have here. So it's time to make this investment. The investment is small in the scheme of things that this base is able to produce. So I think the return on investment will be outsized. And since 2003, our Military Affairs Committee, which is now led by Jennifer Cady, who was a 20-year veteran of the military and also is a former Bulldog. She couldn't be here today. She sends her regards. We've been pushing for this for years because we believe that it's a time, as the governor mentioned, for the state to put some money into it, to show our state stands behind this, our community stands behind it, and we still need the federal government to come in and help us fund things like this. If ever, and this is why the Military Affairs Committee started in 2003, we thought we might lose the fighter wing here. If ever we were to lose it, it isn't just 1,100 jobs, 400 full-time jobs, and $100 million of economic activity. It's all of the trailing partners. So whoever has somebody who's a partner who's working here and their kids, they all go too. So the indirect and induced impact of that is devastating to a region like this, in addition to the safety and everything else that comes from having the fighter wing here. And as Representative Johnson mentioned, all that the fighter wing does up here. The one more plug that I'll make is there's also education that takes place here. And it's not just the training that happens with the men and women who are civilian or enlisted or a part of the military. Starbase takes place up here. And that is an incredible, incredible resource to our students who are learning STEM. So on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, on behalf of our Military Affairs Committee, Jennifer Cady, and everyone else here today, we are so grateful to be able to do this advocacy work on behalf of the base. They can't do their own advocacy, so we step in and do that. But I don't think I have much of a job with these elected officials behind me who spoke so well to every piece of support for this base. So with that, I'll turn it back to the Colonel, and thank you very much.
We'll see if there's any questions. Thank you, Matt. Well, as you can see, there is no daylight between local, state, federal, our partners. It's bipartisan. It's time to do this. It's important to do it. We have an opportunity. We have the resources to do it. It clearly fits in all of the budgets coming out of the House, the Senate, and the budget recommendations we put forward. This should be the year to get this $3 million, start the design, get this thing built. I don't know if there's any questions from the press. Yes?
Why do you believe that this is the year compared to the last, when there is more uncertainty, I think, in our government now than there has been?
About getting this done now? I think that's because of the work that's been done here. They have built this, the necessity from it. We've made the case federally, which I do believe, and I believe the state should be investing in these things. We need to do more. Federal government's probably not going to do it. Doesn't change the fact that it's needed, and I think that has become self-evident. You've got strong advocacy in these folks that are able to build coalitions both locally and at the state level. So I'm relatively confident we'll get this done.
So if these changes were to occur, with the budget, when would we be seeing that?
Yeah, this would be an interesting design. I might let the Colonel know a little bit more on what they're looking at.
Yes, this is the first part of this project. This allows us to design this project and see how much it would truly cost. And then once we have this approved, we can go out and potentially look for any federal fallout money that might be available, or in the future try to program this. But the design is already done, which is the first step of this project.
Yeah, it'll take a few years, I think, but I would say, and the legislators can speak if I'm speaking out of turn here, the first step on many of these projects is once you get the design in, it gets in the queue, and then those things get funded in subsequent years before something new is brought on. And just to be candid, we're asking for very little new this year, this being one of the top priorities that's coming on board. Well, grateful of you all. Thank you. Colonel, thank you.
Thank you, Governor.
Senator, thank you.
Thank you, Governor.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Hey, great work out there.
It's okay. Yeah. This is in there, exactly.
There's a discussion to be done, should we do even side bonding bills every year? Some of the Senator Housley does not believe that. Every other year. I don't think there's any and then once you're in the queue,
Right. Frankly, the amount of sizes, if we can get a consistent
I agree.
to our community investment instead of
I've always argued for
wishy-washy.
that because that's not really my place, that's all of your place. It just seems like us it's easier because one of the things is too is we're sitting on about 2.4 billion that have not been let out yet. You have 6 times once you
Right.
us in, and those are sitting there before they expire, and we get some consistency then because once you get this out, we get the bids taken and we start building. But grateful.
Grateful to you.
Let put a plug in
Thanks for
at
having
this
us.
and then the tower, and we got the 10
Yeah, the
million on
tower's
the
right
side
here.
and the transportation bill. So they go hand in hand as we know.
Yep.
What do you think? Are we gonna get a budget for this?
No, Governor.
I know.
Knock on everything.
Is there any wood around it?